What is up, fight fans? I am the Mad Hatter, and this is my MMA show. Hope everybody's doing well. I've taken about probably a week or two off just because I've been busy with training myself and everything like that. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 UFC flyweights of all time. Um, Now, flyweight's a relatively new division. You know, we haven't had a lot of guys in it. It was a little bit hard to make a list, but I've got it down. So we're gonna jump right into it. Our number 10 is Tim Elliott. The reason I have Tim Elliott in this list, he's 20 and 13. You know, not the most glamorous record in the world, but he's been around the block. He's fought basically everybody. He came into the UFC, won the Ultimate Fighter Tournament of Champions, fought Demetrius Johnson, lost that fight, but fought for the title. Notable wins include Louis Smolka, Tagir Ulanbekov. Very, very tough guys. He's got great submissions. He's a great fighter. He's been around forever. And next we have Sergio Pettis. The reason Sergio is on this list is not just what he did in the UFC, and I know it's UFC list, but outside the UFC matters too. He's putting together a hell of a streak now. He's 23 and 6. He has beaten Joseph Benavidez, Chris Carriasso, and John Moraga in the UFC, just to name a few. He went on a bit of a tear in the UFC, stumbled a little bit, went to Bellator, become the bantamweight champion there. He beat Patricio Pitbull, who's a very, very well-known guy. Uh, he can knock anybody out. And Sergio's beaten a lot of guys and rose up to a lot of tests, and he's done very well. He's a great striker. He's very entertaining, great submissions, very well-rounded guy. Next, we have Jussier Formiga. Now, Jussier's been around forever. He's 24 and 8 in MMA. In the UFC, he has beaten quite a few big names. He actually beat Davison Figueiredo, who's a former champion. He beat Sergio Pettis. He beat Ben Nguyen. He has beaten a lot of very, very high-level guys. He's very, very dangerous on the ground. Shorter guy, he's even small for flyweight a little bit. Him and, guys like DJ, guys like Cejudo, guys like that. A little bit smaller for the division, but he still just goes out there and beats people. He's okay at striking, but he's got very, very scary ground game. Very dangerous with his submissions. Very, very tough fight for anybody, I think, in that division. And he went on a tear in the middle of his career, started beating everybody. Next, at number 7, we have Alexandre Pantoja. Now, he's the current champion. Why is he so low on this list? He has not been in the UFC for very long, but he does have some very notable wins. He has beaten a lot of good guys. He is 27 and 5, which, that's not a record to downplay at all. He's beaten a lot of very good guys. He's beaten Brandon Moreno twice, which I think is incredible. Brandon Moreno, two-time champion, great fighter. Very tough guy, very hard fight at flyweight. He's taller for the division. He's strong. He's long. He can take people down. He can submit you. He can knock you out. And Pantoja's beaten him twice. Then Damasio Page, who's a bit of an OG at bantamweight. Damasio is very tough, very great boxing, good wrestling. Pantoja beat him as well. Pantoja also beat Brandon Hoyvel as of recent, and that fight left a little bit to be desired. But in the striking, I don't really think you mess around with Hoyvel too much. I don't think you play around with him striking very much. So Pantoja did exactly what he was supposed to do. Took him down repeatedly, held him down, won the fight. Just outpointed him. Next on our list, we have Joseph Benavidez. He is an OG. This guy has been around since the inception of the flyweight division, pretty much in the UFC. And most of these guys, you'll notice, have competed at bantamweight as well. Most flyweights do. Joseph Benavidez is 28 and 8. What a record. He beat John Moraga. He beat Henry Cejudo back before Cejudo was champion. And that fight was very hyped. It was a big rivalry between them. Those guys hated each other. Joe's been around. He's had a lot of good wins. Great wrestling, good boxing. Very well-rounded guy. I would say he's a legend at flyweight. 100%. He's a legend of the sport. Next, this one might be a little controversial to put him on here, but When you hear who he's beaten and you hear what he's done since, you'll understand. Our next one at number 5 on our list is going to be Kyoji Horiguchi. Reason for this, he is 32-5. He has an insane record. He's been around for a very long time. Fought in Japan, fought in the UFC, fought in Ryzen, fought basically everywhere. Fought DJ for the title. He lost, but everybody lost to DJ. He's beaten a lot of good guys. He beat Ian McCall. He beat Chico Camus. He beat Ben Nguyen, and you know he's beaten a lot of very very good guys in the UFC. Yeah, back in the day, Ian McCall, Chico, those guys were on top. They were pretty much the top of the division at flyweight when it first came about and started. And he rose up to the occasion, beat a lot of very very tough guys in the UFC. Went on to be in Ryzen, went on to be a world champion, went on to beat a lot of people, a lot of very very good guys. And Kyoji is very tough, great on the ground, great at striking, pressures you. He's a very hard fight for anybody you'll find at flyweight or bantamweight. Our next one, who I want to talk about a little bit more, at number 4, we have Davison Figueiredo. Now, the reason Figgy is so high on this list, he is 22-3. Which, he's had less fights than a lot of guys on this list, but he's done a lot so far. He beat Tim Elliott, he beat Joseph Benavidez, he's beaten Brandon Moreno in the past, and those fights with Brandon Moreno are very, very high regarded in my mind, just because they were great fights. They were very intense. They were hard fought wars. They were battles. And Figueiredo's been a flyweight champion. And a lot of guys on this list can't say that. But Figueiredo, he's done very well for himself. His move up to bantamweight was successful. He beat Rob Font recently, and it was a good fight. And Davison's a very very tough guy. I think him at bantamweight's just going to be just as dangerous as he is at flyweight, and I think he's proving that. I think he could be in the title picture one day at bantamweight, and he kind of already is, beating a guy like Rob Font. So it's interesting to see what his future is going to be. And next, again, probably a little controversial because he wasn't around for too long. You'll see by his record, but what he's done in combat sports in general, I feel puts him very high on this list. Henry Triple C Cejudo. Now, a lot of people do not like the King of Cringe, as a lot of people call him, but 16-3. He's beaten very tough guys. He beat Demetrius Johnson. He's the guy that ended that streak, which counts for a lot in and of itself. TJ Dillashaw goes down to flyweight, try to kill the division. There was that big storyline there, and Cejudo he just dominated him. He defeated him easily, and TJ is a very very tough guy. I think he had a bad weight cut, yeah, but TJ's tough in any context. TJ's always tough, and Cejudo beat him. Cejudo was a double champ. Cejudo is an Olympic gold medalist. The accolades just go on for this guy, and he's beaten so many people. I think he deserves to be in our top 3. 16-3 in MMA. I'm glad he's back. He's entertaining. It's gonna be fun to see. I think eventually, I think it would be cool if he rides a streak a little bit again and uses his wrestling well. I think him and O'Malley would be so entertaining in the build up for a fight. I think it would be amazing. Next we have Brandon Moreno, 21-7. He had a bit of a rough patch there, and actually had to leave. He was cut from the UFC and then came back. And just the road he's taken and how many people he's fought to get up there. He's a legend of the sport. He's beaten Davison Figueiredo. He's beaten Kai Kara France, Luis Smolka. He beat Figueiredo twice, and he's been a champion twice. He is a very, very tough contender for anybody. He's tall, he's long, he can box, he can take you down, he can kick you, he can do whatever he wants, and mix it up very well, and he's a very great fighter. And last but obviously not least, everybody knows who it's going to be. 25-4 in MMA, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. The reason he's there, he beat Anderson Silva's title defense streak. He notable wins. Just listen to this list. It speaks for itself. Kyoji Horiguchi, Tim Elliott, Ray Borg, Henry Cejudo, John Dodson, Joseph Benavidez, Ian McCall. He has beaten everybody. He has beaten everybody. And he's one of the best of all time, and he's still doing great over in one championship. And the UFC did not appreciate him the way that he deserved to be, because he's an absolute legend of the sport. Many people believe he's the best martial artist of all time, and I can't argue if people think that. He's definitely up there. I put him up there with those guys. He's one of the greatest of all time, 100%. So, yeah, there's a reason he's number one on our list. He's had 10 title defenses. He defeated, Anderson Silva's record, which nobody thought would happen. He was flyweight champion forever, to the point where they had to make an Ultimate Fighter tournament just to get him a contender, because he was beating everybody. He had cleaned the division out. He just beat everybody, and DJ's doing great, and he's gonna have a great future in the sport as well. And in a way, he doesn't need to be in the UFC. He draws anywhere and he beats anybody, pretty much, in that division, and he's proven that. So that was the conclusion of our list. Thank you guys for watching. It was amazing to be able to make this channel, do these videos, do my research more, watch the fights myself. I watch all the time. I'm going to be competing myself. I train every day. And I'm a little biased towards this list just because I'm going to be competing at flyweight and bantamweight myself. I'm not the biggest guy in the world. Please subscribe to my channel. Mad Hatter MMA looks to grow, looks to be an informational channel, looks to teach people about martial arts, and looks to be hopefully a good avenue for people to watch, and some people can connect with, and something that MMA fans can enjoy. And we will do top 10s, trivia, we'll do news on the fights, I'll do technique videos, I'll teach you guys things. I look forward to all of that, and I look forward to being here for a long time and here for a good time. So please subscribe. Next video, we are going to go up in the divisions. We're going to do this for every division, and this is going to be a bit of a series. Next division will be bantamweight, obviously, and who knows, maybe we'll see some people that are on this list on that list as well, but I don't know. Stay tuned and you'll see. I've been Mad Hatter MMA. Nice to see you guys. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you soon.